Hey now, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday, because we were off yesterday for President's Day. You know, to look at the presidents. We combined all the presidents. So that was a holiday. So film scoring Tuesday. And moving forward, now that we're in February, and well, I have been coming in twice a week. Teachers have been coming twice a week. So for me personally, I'll be in Tuesday and Wednesdays. So that means we'll be having film scoring Monday. So this is the new schedule. Keeping it simple on Mondays. I'll be coming in Tuesday and Wednesday for in-person classes. Thursday we'll have a YouTube class. I'll probably revisit something that was part of the curriculum. Friday, film scoring results. So does that sound good? So if you don't see a YouTube on Tuesday and Wednesday, that means because I'm in person doing them. So of course you can always go, but all the other staff, there's new classes every single day. So it's not all about me. So just know that if you don't see a new class for Tuesday or Wednesday, it's not because I'm doing less work or anything like that. I'm getting ready for our film scoring classes. So that's it. But this week's different because today, I am actually in class today, but I do like to do our film scoring classes. So that'll be Monday, Fridays, and then Thursdays will be new YouTube classes. Okay. So I picked this movie not because I particularly love it or anything like that, but I saw a commercial and I was like, man, I really like this music. Where did this music come from? And I kept hearing it, and then I realized, it came from a movie, and so and we're not going to score that actual music to that movie, but I do want to take a listen to one of the famous song that's used in the movie, and then we'll look at the scene we're gonna look at. So what am I talking about here? We're going to be talking about the 2015 film Steve Jobs.
What do? You're not an engineer. You're not a designer. You can't put a hammer to a nail. I built the circuit board. The graphical interface was stolen. So how come 10 times in a day, I read Steve Jobs as a genius? What do you do?
Musicians play their instruments. I play the orchestra.
Steve Jobs is biography, right? It's a movie about Steve Jobs. Everyone knows Steve Jobs. Apple, right? I'm filming this class on an iPhone. I edit the class on Apple computer. Steve Jobs, everybody knows that he's a genius, right? Probably a genius because he's so charismatic about the power of the machine that he created, but he made personal computers for people. That was his genius. The computers, computers go back to the 50s and 60s that took up, storage spaces and fields. How do you make it personal devices? That was his genius. Gates was a genius. Businesses can run computers, IBMs, and they still do. Jobs was, how do you make a personal computer that fits in your hand, that fits in your pocket, that can be all about you, and that's genius. That's something, he's up there with Walt Disney and all that stuff. So this movie's about his life. It's not just beginning to end. It takes place in 3 different stages of his life. Directed by Danny Boyle. Written by Aaron Sorkin. Those are 2 huge names. Boyle's English director, known for Trainspotting, very gritty film, and then a lot of different stuff. Slumdog Millionaire, Yesterday, which was that great movie about the Beatles, if the Beatles never existed, and so this comes out 2015, and the plot it's about 14 years. Okay, so it's kind of covers the life of Apple, because we call it the Apple computer. Co-founder Steve Jobs is a co-founder of Apple, so it covers from 1984 to 1998. So like I said, it's not like a biography in the traditional sense of Steve Jobs. It's based around 3 press conferences. We're going to take a look at a transition right before 1998. Before one of the press conferences. That's what we're going to score. And there's a lot of tension during this whole, because his life was full of tension. And so we'll look at some of those scenes. But what I really liked about it was and I don't think the opera is used in the movie. From what I was trying to gauge it, what we're going to listen to. So the score is by Daniel Pemberton, English, born in 1977, Academy Award nominated and Emmy Award, English composer and songwriter. Got his break really early, got very lucky from making a cassette that kind of caught on, and then got his big break with Ridley Scott for The Counselor. So what he did was interesting. Since the film, Aaron Sorkin developed the screenplay into 3 different sections. So since it's in different sections, what Pemberton did was created the score in different sections. So each section had a different score. Okay, and they're all distinguishable. So the first act is analog because this is 84. So he used analog synthesizers, analog keyboards and synthesizers that were very popular around that time. So when you're hearing it, and this isn't a movie where there's a lot of space, there's a lot of dialogue in this movie. Aaron Sorkin's famous for that. So there's not a lot of space for silence and then beautiful music. There's a lot of talking, overlapping talking, but then music underneath to provide tension. So there's a lot of analog in the beginning, analog music, and so you'll hear that. Second act is the opera. Is in the Opera Hall in San Francisco. It's more orchestral. Now you don't hear the opera voice, but you do in the soundtrack, and you will when I play you the clip that you have. So it's more operatic in nature, and this is the setting of the San Francisco Opera House. Third act is digital, which we're going to score that section of it. So it's interesting that he scored it, the screenplay. He kind of looked at the screenplay, looked at, these are the types of music that I wanted, because music changed from 84 to 98 a lot. Even though it wasn't classical opera really at that time, he still wanted to make distinctions. And so in 2016 for this, Steve Jobs, so he was nominated, Daniel Pemberton, for the Golden Globe Award for Best Original Score. So the song that got me hooked into us talking about this was Circus of Machines. Take a listen to this and then just tell me how cool it is. Very, very simple, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Kind of sounds like Mozart, doesn't it? Very, very simple. Just to simplify it, just 2 chords, the 1 and the 5. We call that the tonic and the dominant, right? Dun, 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 dun. A simple orchestration with just staccato strings. Very nice with the lovely soprano. And then a nice change with the male singers coming in. But this fool's just doing 2 chords here, you know? This isn't advanced harmony. It's very pleasant harmony. Might we say a little bit minimalist, right? We looked at Van Mertens, Belgian composer. We just did a few chords and kind of just built upon those chords. That kind of came to mind. John Adams kind of comes to mind a little bit. This is very simplistic, melodic, pleasant sounding music. And there was just something so pleasant about me hearing this, at least to me. Kind of sounds like Mozart, like a light Mozart opera. Very fun to perform, very energetic. I don't think this particular version is in the movie actually, with the opera singers. the song is, the music cue is indeed in the middle of it. But I thought that performance was really fun to share because it's just, it's intricate. There's a lot going on, but it's very playful and fun. So that's not the scene we're going to score. The scene we're going to score, I looked at a few different things. Scene we're going to score is it's a very tense scene because he's with Kate Winslet, who's kind of, he's a troubled man, Steve Jobs. He was in real life too, of course. Most geniuses are. And so he's about to go out on stage, and there's a lot of people, responsible. He's got a lot of people looking out for what's the next big thing. This scene, I think the electronics in this scene is used very well. Kind of this upbeat thing. So this, we're going to score this as leading right as, this is just before we go into the year 1998, because this is the last act. So we're finishing up the second act here. And this is a very nice, this is part of the digital. So now we're in the digital because it's analog, orchestra, and then digital is how the composer Pemberton has scored it. So let's take a look at the scene of the excitement of how he's going to go on stage. So it's exciting, right? They give him a big round of applause, and then it just kind of cuts away. So we hear some electronic music. Pretty easy chords here. If we just go back and listen. Key of F, F, C, F. A minor, G, back to C. Those are just the chord changes. I just like to simplify. Very easy chord changes. I want to take a listen just with crowd noise and applause and see what you come up with. So what I would like would be kind of find something upbeat electronic score, something with momentum growing, because this is when things are happening for him in this life. He's got a lot of stress with this new technology coming up. So something electronic score would be good. Nothing opera. I just showed you the opera because I thought that was a beautiful piece of music to share. But something that would fit well electronic music wise with momentum. There, something like that. Get it to me by tomorrow. We have a short week, but tomorrow would be great. So, yeah. Okay, and so tomorrow I'll be in class, so no class tomorrow, but YouTube class Thursday. See the results Friday. And this was fun sharing Steve Jobs with you. Have a great rest of the day, and until the next time. Okay, bye.